All right, hello everyone, and welcome to today's weekly live stream with myself, Greta Wall, and David Prince, the leader of T3 Live's Inner Circle virtual trading floor. Today, we are prepping for MAG7 earnings because this is, of course, the big week of MAG7 earnings starting tonight with Microsoft. So we'll get right into that. David, how's your trading day going so far?
I would say okay, considering the wild rotation volatility. Yeah, it's okay considering what's going on in the market.
All right, and we'll talk about those market dynamics in a bit. But first, let's talk about the earnings that are coming up today. Microsoft is set to report after the close today. This is a look at the chart going back to the last earnings report. So this is kind of what the stock has done since reporting earnings last. Big run up and then a drop down here in the past couple weeks heading into this report. That purple line is the 21-day. The orange line is the 50-day. How are you feeling about Microsoft's earnings today and the broader impact it can have on the MAG7 sector?
So there are a few names I like and a few I'm not that excited about. Microsoft was one of the few that I don't want to say negative, but not excited to be long at least. And primarily because it trades at a higher PE. It's had such a long road to success. The chart, if you look back a couple of years, it's certainly outperformed most of its peers and is expensive and is not monetizing AI like everyone kind of needs to see right now. They are key to it and obviously have a great investment there, but it's not exactly going to come to fruition and show in the numbers. So when I looked at it, but it's down 7 today, I think it's going to be a seller's print. I think anyone that sells puts and calls is probably going to win. And now I feel that's more the case. I actually expect numbers to be fine, maybe even a tad bit better than fine. But I was not a fan of the stock going into the print. Now I'm even more neutral because we are down 7 today. So there's even less pressure as this overriding theme of sell your winners, buy the laggards continues. So bottom line, going into this week, it was one of my least favorite MAG7 names based upon valuation and monetization. Now I'm kind of more neutral given the fact it's had a rough week thus far.
The other names that are reporting this week, tonight we're getting AMD, Starbucks, Pinterest, in addition to Microsoft. Tomorrow, Meta, Boeing are kind of the biggest names. And then Thursday, Apple, Amazon, Intel, Coinbase, among hundreds of others that are reporting this week. I think the AMD report is interesting when you think about the sector and the strength that we've seen in the semis, leading up to this, and then the pullback in the semis and the strength and the pullback, the back and forth that we've been seeing, especially led by NVIDIA. I know you were playing into the report with some calls. We'll show that a bit later. But what are your thoughts on the AMD report and the impact it can have?
Well, the overriding theme is that it's second or third best and that their product, right, their AI chip is not doing what it's supposed to do. And they actually lost a few key clients, right? And that they may really not show the same growth via AI that people anticipated. Being that's the key to the story because their PC business is not exactly a blockbuster business. In fact, I'm looking for it to be better and show a bottom, but that's not where they're showing this wild growth. So that really hurt the stock. It's gone down 40 points in a straight line. It was 187 for a quick minute a couple weeks ago. So I looked at it at the end of last week and thought, wow, there is nothing expected in this report, meaning, whether it be the AI chip, whether it be their legacy business, no one's very excited. And maybe there's at least a lotto here because if they say anything halfway decent, this could really move. So I bought the 145 calls yesterday on that. I'll call it an oversold rally in semis and tech. On Friday, I got long SOXL for a quick trade and AMD for the print. We had that kind of wild. It lasted for an hour. We had a 4 or 5 point move in AMD. I sold those calls and went to a higher strike on a pullback. I think overall it doesn't have a lot of pressure. If Lisa talks a good game and actually debunks to some degree losing clients and having some real success, the numbers on the AI chip have gone way down. So I kind of like it as a spec play. I can't say I like it because it's cheap. I can't say I like it because business is great. It's a fun spec play if you know what you're willing to risk. So I have calls going into the print and I'm playing with profits. Yesterday, when I saw it run to 145, I thought, I think this is dumb luck. Let me take a profit here and let me play with the profits and buy a different strike. And that's what I've done. So only because of the stock's poor performance, to make it clear, am I long calls for the print, because no one expects anything, which sometimes leads to expanded upside.
Mhm. The other key reports this week, of course, Meta, Amazon, and Apple. You've been on the record very openly that Amazon is a top MAG7 name for you, in addition to NVIDIA. How are you feeling about Amazon into this print?
One side is, oh my God, no one wants to buy big cap tech ever again. And that theme is hard to fight. And sometimes there's such a strong trend, you figure, why fight it, right? Like, it's just too strong. I'm somewhere in the middle, meaning I'll fight it, excuse the expression. I'll invest in a stock at the right price, even if no one's interested at that moment. And I feel that way about Amazon because valuation continues to go down as the stock goes higher. The stock is still beneath lows from 21. They're producing more cash flow than they ever have in history, thus why valuation continues to go lower. I see strength in AWS, in retail and advertising. So if there is a big cap tech name that can work, I think it's Amazon. But then you remember that Jeff Bezos has a ton of stock to sell above 200. So I say it knowing that the climate is against it, right? That no matter how much I like it, the climate's not exactly all for this stock working. But I like it. And I like it best into the print because valuation's going lower while the stock price goes higher, and the stock price has come in and it's reasonably valued.
Mhm. For everyone who's with us, if you would like David to answer any questions, do get them in now so we can get to them before we got to wrap this up. We have one sitting from Twitter. We'll get to that in just a second. But I want to talk about the economic data we've gotten so far this week. It's a huge earnings week, but it's also a huge economic week for the market. So lots of catalysts happening. We got jolts in consumer confidence today, and that jolts number came in at 8.18 million, which was down slightly from May. It's showing the labor market continuing to cool, but over 8 is still a really strong
Actually
number.
above what the estimates were.
Yeah, and then consumer confidence rose unexpectedly, actually, to 100.3 versus the 99.5 expectation. What are your thoughts on the economy? We can go ahead and look at what's still coming this week, and you can talk about what you think is the most important of
The
these
economy's
tomorrow
not
morning.
falling apart. I mean, that's what we,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah,
That
yeah,
it's slowing down, real estate's slowing down, but it's not falling apart. And
yeah.
the jobs market is not going kaplooey and everything's broken. And there is not a need to rush and cut rates tomorrow, as a few people, for whatever reason, suggest. In fact, it'll send a message that probably scares the living daylights out of the market if we were to do that. So my strong opinion is no shot for tomorrow. And these types of numbers back up the fact that all things are slowing. They're slowing at in a reasonable time frame where the Fed shouldn't feel forced to start to cut rates tomorrow. ADP will be important, but NFP will be far more important. As far as consumer confidence, I think, again, it backs up what we're talking about. People are still out there traveling, spending money, shopping, maybe not to the same degree. Yes, there are certain areas that are being cut back, but overall, people are not out there on food stamps. It's still summertime. They're traveling. Look at any of your Facebooks and you see everyone all over Europe and different places. So I think we have to know we're slowing down, but keep our opinions within reason. Right now, the data suggests we're not falling apart. We're slowing down.
All right, great. All right, let's take a look at what's been happening inside the inner circle over the past weekish. This was late last week on Thursday. David had called for an NVIDIA to hit 107 last Wednesday when we were on our inner circle team call. And it happened the next day. There's a look at what he did with the stock on Thursday. He was, trimming and trailing and adding and trimming, managing that position, as he's talked about many times, how he manages in and out of a position, trades around a core. These IWM calls were, I think you sold them on Friday. You've been holding them, though, for about a week, and you sold for over 100% gains. You had a thesis. You stuck with it even through the pain of these calls into that session, and that worked out well for you. And these are the AMD calls that we were talking about earlier. You bought these for around $4.50, I think, on Friday. Sold them for nearly $6 yesterday, so about $1.50 gain. Talk about what your strategy has been in this current market environment. Is it shifting with how things are changing today?
Right.
What do you do?
This is a trader's cap. I was an investor, put it on. Now I'm a trader. Like
Okay.
as I get older, I'm less and less a trader, but I adjust to the environment. The environment is such, it's a trading environment. There's less to invest in. I'm not letting the market rule my mindset. Although I listen to the market, right? I want to stay solvent so I don't fight it. My point is, about a month ago, I said this has gotten so crazy with the outperformance in big cap. Either small cap has to play catch up, or I'll miss upside because I'm not chasing big cap up and up and up and up. So I've said right now the way to create alpha is to do less and look at the charts. And if you want to really make your month or week, focus on levels. So Nvidia had been showing weakness, and I said there's no rush. There'll be a day we flush, and when we get to that 107 spot, that'll be for the short term. And I said this. I said this doesn't have to be the all-time bottom, but I see a short-term, very strong trade signal. So I bought some stock, 110, 109, but I bought most of my stock under 108. We rallied, and I would say I sold the bulk of it between 113 and 114, and I sold plenty higher, 115 and 116. And I would say very comfortable saying that most people made their week or month. Some people really made their month with that one trade because we really felt strong about it. But I'm actually giving you the details because I think that's the market we're in if you're going to buy big cap. Trying to assume, like I told people yesterday that sold it at 116, they said, pulling back into 110, what do you think? I said, I think nothing. I think you should not touch Nvidia. If you have a trailer with me, hold on to it. There'll be better opportunities. There is clearly a huge sell program that continues, which is sell winners, sell large cap, and buy smaller companies that have lagged the market. So don't force it. Today, as we came into a new level where you can kind of define risk, which is the 100-day right under 104, I said, all right, for a trade, I'll buy some stock. So 104.50, 104.40, I bought some stock. It bounced to 106. Okay. I said, I don't think this is the end all trade. Take your profits. And I took most, and now I'm sitting with some. Everyone's looking for the same gap fill, which goes all the way down to the previous highs at 97. Sometimes when everyone's looking for something, I think it doesn't happen. I think fundamentals matter. I think the fundamentals remain strong here. This is more of a market response, right? We have changed our mindset that you can't go out and buy the same thing anymore. And that's dumb to fight, but it's also important to be cognizant that the fundamentals didn't change. So there'll be a spot where I get aggressive again. I hope ideally it breaks down and it's closer to that 100 to 97 level. But in short, I'm playing individual trades where I see great risk reward short term, because I think that's the market we're in right now till we get a bigger correction.
All right. Jaswant from Twitter wants your thoughts on CrowdStrike. The latest news causing the stock to plunge today is that Delta may seek damages against the company for the meltdown that happened. What are your thoughts on the stock?
So I'll tell you exactly what I told Inner Circle because I'm on record with this. Last week I said any bounce, and we played this, we were pretty short the stock. Any bounce, you probably want to short. This is going to continue. And if you go back and look at previous blowups of completely different companies, but where they had a major event that changed how people looked at the company, Chipotle, Boeing come to mind. It's a process. And the only elixir, the only thing that fixes things is time. So I said, I don't think this stock's done. I think we're going to go down to at least 232. Don't ask me where I came up with that number because I can't even remember why I did. But I said last week, 232, we'll get oversold again. If you want to buy it for a Q trade, that's fine. But ultimately, when you have a company, right, and by the way, it might all be priced in. It might be a great buy. It almost doesn't matter because here's what analysts are doing. They're rationing their earnings down. We don't know what real earnings will be for next year. We don't know the amount of clients that are lost. They may not even lose that many clients. We don't know how many clients are going to renegotiate contracts. We also don't know how many lawsuits will be filed. We also don't know if maybe they're not on the hook because they have enough insurance. But do you notice I said I don't know 6 times? So here's what I know. That these types of situations over the last 30 years, 90% of the time, go a bit lower and a bit lower and have these cute bounces of 10 points or 15 points to alleviate the oversold issue. And then they go and make new lows. So anyone that's betting all in, this is the bottom. I think that's a fool's errand. But anyone who wants to play it short term for cute trades, I get that. So if I'm looking at it and I thought, wow, this is best in breed, best technology, I think a year from now we'll say this was a great buy. I would dollar cost average starting today. It is at 17 relative strength. It is into a cute level that I said it might bottom at, but I would not discount 200 or lower in the future because markets hate, more than anything else, they hate insecurity. They hate when they don't know an answer to something. And God knows there's a lot of things we don't have answers to on CrowdStrike.
Also, a question about rate cuts. When a rate cut happens, is it bullish or bearish for stocks? Time frame is year end. I think the market's pretty solid, 100% on a September rate cut, possibly another before the year end. So, what are your thoughts on what it'll do for sentiment?
Same way I feel about earnings. I think anyone who answered that question without answering this way would probably not be a great short-term trader. Tell me where the market is at that point in time. If we've come down and the market has corrected a great deal into that rate cut, probably not an issue. If the market continues to make new highs into that rate cut, we probably have a cooling off period. So a lot of it's going to be, where is the market pre that event, right? Just like if Microsoft were to go down another 10 today, I'd actually say it's a decent spec buy long, the way I did AMD. So a lot is going to be where the market is.
All right, we talked about Microsoft and AMD. Any of the other MAG7 names this week that you are playing into the print versus just waiting for the print to come out?
All right, here's what I've done. When Apple got to about here, where it is right now, 216, 217 last week, I bought 220 calls for this week. I bought them in the threes. They went to the fives. I trimmed some. They went back to the threes. I bought some. I love to play these before the earnings. So if I have a good inclination, they're going to work pre the print and the stock will work, I can take some profits and play with the house's money. In this case, I'm playing with some of the house's money, some of my own, meaning there's upside, but I don't have a ton of risk. So Apple is not cheap. Apple has moved from that 180, 190. It's not like it's undiscovered. However, it did miss a decent amount of the bull market the last year, as it was all about NVIDIA and AI. And the setup's not awful, right? If they really are going to have the biggest cycle, iPhone cycle in history, and it's going to be the impetus will be due to the AI inclusion in their phone, which has been delayed. We all know about the news the last couple of days. You know what? It has a better setup than some of the other MAG7 names. On top of it, they keep buying back stock. They might be more aggressive with that. So I'm going with, I like it more than Microsoft, but I'm not in love with it. So I'm playing with some house money there. I just see the setup as something that works okay. It's pulled back from 233, 234. And the recent news flow is positive. And maybe they found a bottom in China, meaning they're not losing market share anymore. So I'm okay with it. There's no give me prints. The best setup based upon fundamentals and stock price, in my opinion, is Amazon going into the print. Right. And it's not an easy one because Jeff Bezos has a ton of stock to sell you if it gets over 200. So.
All right, here's a screen grab from the room. Last Friday, people talking about how great the inner circle is. Yesterday was a lesson in itself. Tremendous calls by you. My first day and the best day I've ever had. Thanks for an amazing week. So if you want to get in with the inner circle, you can apply to join at t3live.com/DP. Again, that's t3live.com/DP. It is a busy day, a busy week. So we got to let David get back to trading. But thanks as always for doing this today, David. And we'll see you in a week.
Thanks for having me. Have a great day, everyone. Good luck on earnings.